Hello everybody and welcome to the Batcolyte. Go ahead and tap the screen, share the live. We're up to 2,000 likes already, but with 12 of us in here, if we tap just a little bit more, I'm pretty sure we can hit the algorithm. Also, don't forget that you can repost or add the live to your story. Gotta make sure I do that myself. We are here, as we always are, not to argue or debate, not to shame or belittle, but to question, to see if you can question what it is you believe, what it is you assume, what you, not to take it away, not to disprove it, not to dismantle or destroy it. See if you can question it, to see if scrutiny, some kind of strength test, is it some kind of is it like a honing rod? Does it help you to refine the edge, or can it chip away where the cracks are starting to show? Does it have to do either? Can't a question just be a question? If you can question your beliefs, if you do believe in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like that, and you're capable of questioning that, well, go ahead and request on up. I'll be taking a guest very soon. I see there are 7. We're up to 35,000. 3,500. We're still just getting started. But if we keep tapping, I'm sure the witch for helping with the goal. I think you'll have that cleared before I even made it to the panel. So thank you. Good evening, Mimas. Also, hello, Delilah Scissors. Good evening to Danny Grax, to Ghostbane, to Cat in a Vat. Hello. Welcome in, Wolf. Welcome in to Swish's Sweet Tooth, and welcome in to Lynn's, Shannon, Angel, Cider Wave, Hannah Lore. Also to Whippersnapper, to Ann, to Noodle, to DJ, and Liv. Welcome all. Good morning, good evening, or whatever it is for you. Detroit, the irony of an atheist who won't question their own beliefs. That would be ironic. Or would it? Couldn't atheists be just as dogmatic as any fundamentalist? possibly. But if you do have a belief in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like that, well, go ahead and request up. I'm not here to debate or argue. I'm not here to shout you down or tear you apart. I don't want to prove you wrong. I'm not going to score any points. And there really is no winning or losing. It's not a competition, it's a conversation.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, Kishan. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
I'm 21. I'm born in 2004.
And do you have a belief in a god or God's higher power?
I believe in Hinduism, and I believe in Krishna as the supreme god.
You believe in Krishna as a supreme god, and what does that mean to you, Hinduism?
Well, one thing you have to understand, Hinduism, it's a term to define people who live by the Indus River, and that's what the Persians call the people who live near there. So, in my opinion, it's not really like a correct term, but specifically, I specifically believe in Krishna, and Hinduism is such a big concept with multiple beliefs. So, if I can tell you about my perspective, well, we believe.
Actually, I'd like to ask you some questions. So, you believe in Hinduism, but you don't think the
I
name
believe in the
necessarily.
deities of Hinduism, but the problem is that it's a lot of sub beliefs within that one religion, because Hinduism isn't like the correct terminology.
That's that. I heard you say that. So you follow Krishna. Krishna is the god that you think is the highest, the Almighty.
Yeah, he's the source of all creation, and the Bhagavad
He's
Gita.
the source of all creation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because you see Krishna as the source of all creation, then do you worship, praise, venerate? What do you do?
I worship him, and
what does it mean to worship him?
To worship, it means to accept him as a higher power, and build a relationship through his teachings in our scriptures.
So you build a relationship with Krishna according to your scriptures. What scriptures is that?
In the Bhagavad Gita, in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
And have you read your scriptures?
Well, I mean, I almost completed the Bhagavad Gita, but I haven't finished the Bhagavatam yet. But
Do you believe the stories to be true?
I believe the stories from the Rig Veda, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Srimad Bhagavatam to be true.
Why?
Why?
Yes, why do you believe the stories to be true?
Based on the archaeological evidence of...
Is there archaeological evidence of the stories, or is there archaeological evidence that the stories are old?
Yeah, I know. So, yes, since it's very old, but there's still archaeological evidence, so basic. It's like 20 seconds. Krishna, in his lifetime when he's born as a human, he was on the battlefield called Kurukshetra, right? And there, and it has been, and his land, which is, and then thousands of years later, what they find is a whole like a whole what's that one word? Like kingdom of Dwarka, like found underwater in Gujarat in India. And he said that he was going to
Just to clarify, you're saying that there are some ruins underwater in India,
Yes.
and that the ruins underwater in India are somehow explained in
Yeah.
the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, and there's also some more because Krishna,
So just to clarify, and a story, you think that that means that the story must be true?
depending on the scripture, I can conclude that I can start researching and developing a sense of what the scriptures say through the archaeological evidence.
I'm not quite following. You're saying there's archaeological evidence that the gods sank the city?
That specifically Krishna said that the city will shrink under the water, and it happened. Like,
So, just to, again, the character in the book says that a city will be underwater.
yes.
Could not the story have been written in some way as a myth or fable about why a city was underwater?
Well, yes, there was, yeah, there was a whole story based on it.
So then, why do you say that this verifies the truth of the Bhagavad Gita if it is just a story about why a city's underwater and includes a god as a character? Then, I mean, does that make that any different than, say, the Noah's Ark story?
Oh, the nose. Oh wait. I'm not Christian. I kind of don't. I forgot which one was Noah's Ark.
Right, the flood, and the guy built the boat, put the animals on it. Maybe
Wait,
all
wasn't that like
part
Moses or
was fake.
something?
No, it was Noah.
Oh, okay.
What makes it any different than Paul Bunyan dragging his axe to create the Grand Canyon?
Well, did the Bible mention that was going to happen?
No, I'm not talking about the Bible. I just shifted out of the Bible to make it, I
Okay.
thought, I don't know, less unfamiliar, probably more unfamiliar. It doesn't matter. So,
Yeah, I'm familiar.
if there's an explanation why people say that this landform is there, they say that a giant dragged his axe, and now there's a canyon. Well,
Yeah.
there's a canyon there. Does that mean a giant dragged his axe?
Well, but I mean, that's the point of questioning, right? You don't just believe it because something says it's true. You look into it.
Okay, so when you look into it, do you see any evidence that gods had anything to do with the...
Well, it wasn't really meant to be flooded. It was actually just said to be sunk underwater. It's not necessarily a flood.
Do you see it as sunk underwater, or is there evidence that it was once above the water? Or is there
Well,
more evidence that the water
there's no
rose around it?
evidence. Well, as of right now, there is no evidence. But here's the thing: even like 100 years ago, there was no evidence that there was no knowledge of there being a whole like kingdom underwater until they found it. So right as of right now, no. But as time goes on, I believe it will happen.
Does it say there's a whole kingdom underwater?
Well, smaller than a city, but like it's like a mini type kingdom.
A
Yeah.
mini type of kingdom smaller than a city.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So there's some ruins under a city, underwater,
There are
and
actually.
and you assume this is the same city that Krishna was talking about in the Bhagavad Gita.
Of course.
Why do you say of course?
Because
Isn't that the point
this
of questioning? Weren't you just telling me about the point of questioning? How do you just say of course?
no, because the thing is obviously before you have to analyze these things, right? And I told you I think like it completely matches what the scriptures say, right?
How does it completely match?
It does match that it's sunk underwater.
Again, you've already said you don't have evidence that the city
No,
sunk.
but it was
Is
found
sinking the
underwater.
same
I
as
mean,
the
no,
water level
but
rising?
but
Is
but
is
you're
sinking
telling me people for like
is
five,
sinking
but
is sinking the same as the water level rising? Are
no,
those the same?
no, but you're not getting,
Okay, so just to clarify,
but
if
you
the
have to
water
understand my
level
point.
rises, then the city didn't sink, and then it doesn't match perfectly with your scripture, does it?
Okay, no, but you have to understand my point. You're telling people 5,000 years ago, did they really build something underwater? Do they have
I
the,
didn't say they built something underwater. I just said, did the water level rise, or did the city sink? Are those the
hmm.
same thing?
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean,
If the city flooded, is that the same as the city sinking?
wait, that's a good question. I should
And
check
if
up
it's
on it
not the
actually.
same, if it's not the same, and the scripture says that the city sunk, and archaeologists say the city was flooded,
Hmm.
if the scripture says the city's a city, and archaeologists say the city is a temple or a waypoint, then
Yeah.
is that the same? Do they match? Or is it trying to make something similar fit?
Well, no, because it's again the thing is you can't just possibly make it like that happen because we see these things as history rather than just mythology, right? Because there there's
Why do
also
you have to
ruins.
see them as history?
Well, I do see it as history due to archaeological evidence and the ones that are continuing to rise.
What archaeological evidence?
Well,
We did
there's
the
also
sunken city that could have been flooded. So what other archaeological evidence? Thank you, Rav. I forgot all
okay.
about it.
Well, there's more of Kurukshetra, which is the battlefield, and there has been lots of like matched ruins that were in the scriptures, and but I don't have the like that much information on the second one, but I did read upon it. I think I did pretty briefly though. I do have questioning though, like I'm not fully like fully devoted, but I do like about that archaeological evidence. But I do have
Kish,
another one. Wait,
you go off app and we can't hear you. I'm going to remind everybody to tap the screen and share the live. We're at 12,000 likes, 40 of us watching. If we keep tapping, we could probably double that number, probably both of them in the next, hell, 30
hello?
minutes or so. Yeah,
Wait, can
I'm
you?
still here, Kishan. I was talking to the audience while you left. Can't hear you when you leave the app.
No, sorry, no,
So,
my screen time limit just came on, but it's gonna happen again because I actually put it as like 1 more minute, but I'm gonna say like ignore the screen time. So
okay, Kishan. Um, you were saying that there was some other archaeological evidence that gave you reason to believe your stories were true and literal.
Mhm.
What other reason is there besides the sunken city that could have been flooded?
Okay, um just one more thing. It'll take like 10 seconds. So Krishna has these avatars. Have you ever watched like Avatar, like the
You said, have I ever watched Avatar? It doesn't matter if I've watched Avatar. Can you get to the point? Oh, Kishan, you're not really there anymore. I can't hear you. If you're muted, if you went off app, I don't know. I don't know what it is. You don't seem to really be there. So while Kishan figures out his technical difficulties, if anybody else does have a belief in a god or god's higher power or anything like that, you're capable of questioning your beliefs. Go ahead and request on up.
my screen time did the exact same thing. My apologies, but I did the I
Okay,
stopped it.
so you said that Avatar. I don't know what that matters. Can you
Okay.
continue on so you can tell me what it is that
Yeah, sure.
you
Okay,
said
so
gives you reason to believe these stories are literal?
okay. So Krishna, uh, he expands himself into Vishnu, and then there's all these avatars going from Ram, Kalki, Matsya, Narsimha, right? And and when Ram's time came, when he was on Earth, he was there's archaeological evidence of something called the Ram Setu, which is a bunch of um rocks that were in between India and Sri Lanka, right? And the story of that time says that um a bunch of apes and Ram were trying to get across through rocks, a bunch of rocks, right? And well, Adam's Bridge, yeah, okay, Adam's Bridge, but it's also known as Ram Setu, right? So, like thousands of years later, they find out that these rocks are still there, and they predate the sand, and so it shows that it's not really natural as of modern science right now,
I'm
and it's still
sorry, just a moment. You said shows that it's not really natural. I'm not
yeah,
sure
no,
how you've
yeah,
been
yeah,
able to.
yeah.
Hang on. I'm not sure how
Hmm.
you've been able to determine that they're not really natural. Um, but the, you said
No.
that there's a rock formation, and that rock formation is written about in the Bhagavad Gita. Is that correct?
It's not a rock
Is it
formation.
written about it?
It's
Okay, it's
it's
rocks.
just rocks that float on the water, but there's no rock formation.
So rocks floating on the water.
The rocks, but so here's the thing: when it's built, right? It's built in let's say like kind of like a straight line between India and Sri Lanka, and it looks very interesting because since the rock predates the sand, okay, it shows that this whole lining wasn't naturally there, but it was rather built by humans.
You,
And it just
I'm
shows,
sorry,
yeah, and it
because
was,
just to clarify, Kishan, there's rocks in a place
wait,
where they're not
wait, no,
formed.
I just want to go catch up on that comment. No, I did not mix the Ramayana and the
So
Bhagavad
just
Gita.
stop.
I can
Nope,
see the
nope,
distinction of between
Kishan,
them.
stop. You could correct that in the comments. I'm having a conversation with you, and if you're going to rudely talk past me, you can do it in the comments. You can sit down
Oh,
there and type all you want, but I'm up
okay,
here and
yeah,
you're
I'm
up
sorry.
here, and I was speaking when you decided to interrupt and speak past me, so that's the last time that will happen. Kishan,
Mm.
you say that this rock formation or these rocks that are in this place
Mhm.
don't belong here. They're older than the sand or something like that, right? And so that somehow verifies to you that humans put them there. How does any of that verify that the book is literal and true?
Because
Again, it
it
sounds again like the
because
giant dragging the axe, so therefore there's a canyon.
because this was in the exact geographical place, and that's exactly in the Ramayana what the whole story was even about. It correlates with the entire story. It's so fixed.
So you're saying because there is the rocks are given reason to be in that place in the story, and they're in
Yeah.
that place, then they are therefore there because of why the story says.
They have been in a correlation between India and Sri Lanka for such a long, long time.
I'm not hearing how this proves that the rest of the story are true.
Wait, what? No,
The
I'm saying
rocks are
it
in a
proves
place.
the it proves the history that these people have existed.
It proves that people existed. Good job. That wasn't the
No,
question.
that the people, I'm saying it correlates with the Ramayana. 100%.
It correlates.
Of course.
You're saying
It really
because the
does.
rocks. So just to clarify, you're saying because the rocks are in a place where it seems like people put them there, therefore the story that says gods had something to do with it is true.
Yes. And also,
Kishan,
these
again,
gods, they
how
were
is this
also,
any different? How is this any different than the giant dragging his axe and carving the canyon? Does that prove the giant is true if the
can
canyon
you?
exists?
Well, okay, well, you'd have to provide me with context on that because I'm not familiar.
You're saying that it does. So if I tell you a story that a giant dragged an axe and formed a canyon, and then show you that there's a canyon, you will believe that a giant dragged his axe and formed it.
Well, no, but here's the thing.
So then why would you do the same thing here, where a story tells you gods are involved in the construction of this place or the moving of these stones, and
Because
then you
this
see
was a
these
very long
stones?
story, and that part was only a part of it.
So if
And
that part was
yeah,
only a part of it, could it not be there as a fable to explain something that people at the time didn't know, or
you're
maybe
right.
to
But
bolster up a place and make it seem more important by including it in a fiction?
that honestly, it could be a possibility. I understand where you're coming from, but
But
it's it still shows that that it is that we can conclude that we should look further upon it and understand.
maybe question
And
it
also, yes, of course,
instead of assuming that
questioning
it's
is the
true.
main core too. It's
All
literally the
right,
main core of the
Kishan.
whole.
So
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here. I don't see you questioning this belief. I see you trying desperately to prove that it is absolutely true without question.
I am.
It's possible that you do, and maybe in some way that we haven't explored. But I think move on. So appreciate you being here, Kishan. But maybe keep asking questions. Thank you guys so much for helping us with the goal. And appreciate you all for tapping us up to 20,000 likes. Definitely want to say thank you to Philly Red and Freya, to Just When I Heard, to Shannon, also to Danny Grax, Forever Atheist, and Artificial Red. I appreciate all of you so much for helping with that goal. If you happen to have a belief in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like that, and you're capable of questioning that belief, well, go ahead and request on up. I'm not here to debate you or argue. I'm not looking for a proof or to disprove. I just want to know if you can question your beliefs. Well then, what is it that you believe? And why do you believe it?
It's been a while.
Hello, Kyle. I don't remember your name, but can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
19.
Do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything
I
like
believe in. I'm a Christian.
And have you read your Bible from beginning to end?
No, I haven't actually.
Why not?
To be honest with you, I've kind of been feeling bad about myself, and I've been shamed. I feel shameful, you know? But the more that I think about this and I dwell on this, I realize that no matter what I do, Yahweh will always love me. So I need to crack on. Last time I left off in Samuel 1, so.
You left off in Samuel 1, so you've read to Samuel.
Yeah.
And literal.
Yes.
So you believe 6-day creation, Adam and Eve, global flood.
You said what?
You believe in the 6-day creation, Adam and Eve, the global flood.
Yes.
Those stories to be true.
Yes.
Why?
Every time like I open the Bible and like all the things that have happened in my life, it's like a journey. I've always felt like a connection to God. And every time I look at like, you know, those old Disney, like early 90s
Nope.
movies, like, what was it called?
What
Prince
does
of
any of
Egypt.
this have to do with Prince of Egypt wasn't Disney? What does any of this have
I
to
don't remember.
do with why you believe the old stories like Genesis and Exodus?
I have faith.
You have faith. What is faith?
Faith to me
Mm-hmm.
is like trust. It's like I trust God and his teachings.
So faith is just trust.
To me, it is.
So out of curiosity, why did you request up here?
What do you mean?
Why did you request up?
I thought you would remember me.
You have a different name, different profile picture. I don't recognize either of them. Why would I remember you?
It's the same.
Okay, though, I talk to hundreds of people a week. Why would I
You're right.
remember
I'm sorry.
you?
Yeah, you talk to a lot of people, so it's very hard to remember every single person. So,
So why are you here?
because
because I know what you expect me to say is that repent and turn to Jesus and everything and all that stuff, and
That's
Jesus
not
Christ
what I
will help you.
expect you to say. What does the prompt say?
Can you question your beliefs?
Can you question your beliefs?
I have before, but
So it doesn't sound like you can now. So
can I? If I ask you a question, can I? I'll answer that one.
if anybody has a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that, and you're capable of questioning your beliefs, go ahead and request on out. It's like I say that every single time. There are a couple of you in queue who are probably ghosts. Let's see if this one's real. Completely missed yours. Like they have no idea. Another one couldn't question. Happens all the time. We probably could have questioned our first guest a little more, but I don't know that he was questioning so much as trying to prove. Hello, random flavor. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
47.
And do you have a belief in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like that?
I do. I believe we're part of a unified conscious field. You can see it in nature. And I think
What do you mean by conscious?
it has intent, it has direction.
What do you mean by unified?
All right, like a system of animals, a system of humans, how they
System.
Oh, go ahead.
You said system of animals.
System, yeah, like
of
humans
humans.
generally.
What do you mean by system?
Oh, I'm sorry. Humans generally move in a certain trajectory. We try to stay together, on like other animals that like they're by themselves. You can see the trajectory of genetics and the way it moves under pressures with intelligence.
So just to back up, you're saying that there's something about the way intelligence moves under pressure that tells you that there's a system of consciousness that's a field. What do you mean by field here?
All right, well let's start off with like how we were running before we were in the driver's seat of consciousness, right? We were still running, just like animals, ants.
I'm sorry, what do you mean we were running? I have no idea.
Our
Who's we? If you're talking about before consciousness, what are you talking about?
All right. Before we were in the front seat of consciousness perspective,
What does that
asking
mean?
ourselves, who am I?
Stop. What does that mean, front seat of consciousness perspective? You're speaking in weird poetry that makes no sense.
Okay, let me
Could you
slow it down.
clarify and to like put it into English?
You did do that. Let me slow down. All right, so we're conscious. We think of ourselves as ourself, and we're aware of our thinking, we're aware of ourself. Not all species, I think, are like that, right? But before we were like that.
Why do you think that not all species are like that?
Because they don't have the cognitive power to add the context and layers that we do.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
They don't have the mental capacity, the layer everything with abstraction like we do, which makes it a
Layer everything with abstraction. So you're saying that we layer things with abstraction, and
yes, and get
that makes stop, don't interrupt. So if you're saying that we layer things with abstraction, and then that somehow makes us in the front seat of consciousness. Still not sure what that metaphor means, but so we're in the front seat of consciousness because of our layered. What was it again? Point.
highest point of self-evaluation.
How have you determined that we are at the highest point?
Because we extract information from our surroundings and use it the best. So we make more abstractions on the information we got. So we utilize it better.
So we layer abstractions, and that kind of sandwiching makes us the highest form of consciousness that you're aware of, and that I'm still not seeing what this has to do with fields of unified consciousness.
Well, it was operating
before we were in the driver's seat. What do you mean we? If it was before we were conscious, are you talking about some proto-human species that didn't have the awareness we do? And how do you know what their awareness was?
Fair enough. I don't know exactly. I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like you're getting my concepts. Maybe I'm talking too weird.
Do you think, I mean, maybe it's possible that you're kind of using a bunch of fast language and, well, fast talking and spiritualist language that doesn't quite mean what you think it means?
That's possible. I could be talking in a way where I might be obscuring my meaning. Like I had a conversation with you before and you already know the points that I'm trying to make. So I kind of came in kind of hot.
So, when I asked if you have a belief in a God or God's higher power or anything like that, and you said a unified field of consciousness, is that your higher power? Is that something?
Yeah, that would be like a God, something that motivated us, created us before we were in control of our cognition.
And why is it you think that?
All right, for example, animals have camouflage, right? Almost as if they perceive how they're perceived.
Some do. I mean, koalas don't have camouflage. I know that sounds silly, but I mean, they don't. They don't have a way to camouflage themselves. In fact, their brains are about as smooth as, I mean, they look like erasers. You know, I mean, that existence is not perfect. A lot of people beg pardon and say that there has to be some sort of intelligent design to things. But there's a lot in the world that really doesn't make sense. If we think about it from the standpoint of how human existence is equivalent to perfectity, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. And like my friend Ice Cream says often, it's just, why do we have two tubes in our throat by a rib cage when there are several things that could go wrong with that? I mean, there's no evidence of intelligent design. Things just are because they are. And I don't mean to speak matter of factly, but in that realm of ideas, I mean, that's just how things are. Does that make sense?
Job ending that with a question.
I was going to say the same thing.
Oh, he left.
He did.
Made too much sense.
I think he made too much sense for him.
No,
Rich.
well, I wasn't. I'm not even sure about that, but it is weird to me that people think there has to be something that drew all of this up.
The has to be is what always gets me.
Yeah.
Why does
Well,
there
it's
have to be, you know?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with like curriculum, and the way that you're educated. I think. I really want to strongly associate that with what I'm about to say. But I think it's just because when you're a kid, you're taught that if you can draw it first, then it's easier for you to put into words. So if you were to draw a little world, like say you draw a picture of somebody eating something, that's just like the preconceived notion you have of most of humanity. That can sit down at a table and have a really nice heaping pile of fucking spaghetti, and but not everybody gets to do that, and that to me just kind of screams that the world isn't perfect, because if it was, everybody would be able to sit down and have a nice heaping pile of spaghetti.
I do like
That sounds
spaghetti.
stupid.
Nah,
Yeah. It sounds stupid, but I am making a point, I think.
That sounded stupid. I think that was a really good point, actually.
So I saw your comment, and I usually don't do this at the beginning of the live. But I'll
Is
let you
this the
ask me a
beginning?
few questions. Yeah, we just started. But I'll let you ask a few questions. I'll swap up the prompt for now.
So I go through loss, it seems routinely about every couple of years. And I kind of wanted to gather your thoughts, and I know that you're capable of a nuanced conversation about this. And I found myself reverting back to parables from the Bible today. Just involving like how the way that my father lived. And I thought back to the workers in the vineyard parable. And do you think that there's some sort of conditioning, obviously, that like even if you find yourself without faith later in life, that it's still comforting to think of when someone goes on that they're in this place, and you really, really want to think that, but you challenge yourself on that. Is that okay to do, or do you think it's unhealthy?
Why wouldn't it be okay to think that?
I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. That's it's.
Do you need it to be okay?
Yeah. Right now I do, I think.
Mm-hmm. would it make a difference to know that it's just comforting you?
I think that's what I'm conflicted with.
Do you remember a few years ago when my brother unalived?
Yeah.
I didn't do quite the exact same thing, but I did do. I went through like this very similar thing of like there's probably like 3 months there where the way I thought of him was in the context of like there was this afterlife, right? Like there was this there place, and for that time it was like that was just how I let myself think of it, and that was what I let myself believe, and it was okay. And I did eventually like stop thinking in that way, right? But like but I think it's okay. I think that's how I dealt with something, like a really like loss in a very similar way.
I guess I'm just kind of confused on why human beings do that.
And why human beings do what?
Revert back to like a spiritual, like go through a loss and then reverting to some spiritual belief that you no longer hold as comfort.
Can I offer something that I think might be both affirming and maybe explaining, but I don't know that I can offer it in the form of a question. So, Thrayle, let me know if that's acceptable.
Yeah, you're good. You don't have to do any jargon.
Go ahead, Rev.
All right. So I have a lot of friends who, well, so I'm here. I'm just trying. I'm trying to form it. I had a thought, and then I wanted to make sure that I formed it in an appropriate way.
Sure.
I have a good friend who is a therapist, and when his clients call him in a moment of crisis, he asks them, "Have they brushed their teeth today?" And he has told me that the reason he does this is, one, it diffuses the immediacy of the crisis, and you can kind of assess how acute the crisis actually is. But it also helps people ground themselves in a ritual. And it's a ritual that's innocuous, right? It's not a religious ritual, but it's a ritual nonetheless. It's something that we do regularly. And I think it's an important thing to do, to brush your teeth and take care of yourself. But the point being that ritual ultimately is something that we do to alleviate stress. That it is through ritual that we are able to sort of cope with the impossibility of the stress that we are experiencing. And this is truly, I think, the reason that ritual exists to begin with. And so, in some sense, and by the way, this is not just my own thought, this is something that is affirmed by soft scientific research, that animals, especially larger brained animals,
You're good.
Yeah, larger brained animals use ritual to alleviate. Look, some stress is very good because it pushes us to act. But there is a certain amount of stress that ultimately is non-beneficial and ultimately inhibits our ability to do. And so we have to have a way to kind of siphon off that excess stress. And as it turns out, ritual is a good way of doing that. Having something to depend on, an action or a consistency is a way of doing that. And I think, look, in my line of work, I happen to be a rabbi. People are their most religious. They're most concerned about what's the right thing to do. What does the law say? People become the most adherent to this kind of traditional, whatever it is, or whatever they think they're believing is the most traditional thing, when it is dealing with life and death. And the reality is, they're the same person they were. Now, when somebody passes away, that is the weird dichotomy, is that everything is exactly the same and nothing will ever be the same again.
Sure. You know what I've always said is and I won't take up too much time because the show is brand new and I want to give you some time here with the host and co-host. But before I go, I do want to say that something I've noticed after, and I've said this to Kat before because we've had very deep conversations. She's been around when I've lost several family members, but and friends. So people oftentimes leave a ghost, and when I say a ghost, I don't mean like a spooky kind of like movie ghost or like some sort of metaphysical like light being thing behind them. The ghost that they leave is the things that haunt you, like the dictionary definition of haunting. It follows you around. You hear a song, you hear people speaking about something that triggers a memory. You take a bite of something that tastes like it did when you were a kid. Have to stick around to note that they left that. And that always is the second stage of cope after the one that I'm going through now, I think. So I do appreciate what you said a lot. Genuinely, you lost me at first, and then once I paid attention, I realized what you were saying. I think that you
I'm sorry. It's a difficult thing to talk about because I really don't want to tell you how to feel. Like, that's not my goal.
You weren't, and and you couldn't if you tried.
Yeah, exactly.
Let the show go on. Go ahead.
You doing okay?
Yeah, sorry for your loss.
I'm trying. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Don't worry.
You also don't have to be okay, Like, you don't have to be okay.
I know. But don't worry about anything bad, Kat, and I'm good. I promise.
Give Gracie some snuggles.
I don't know where the fuck. Oh, there she is. She's actually right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She's been a real bitch lately.
Gracie is a cat.
Yeah.
I figured it was a pet.
Anyway, I'm gonna let the show go on, and
I appreciate you, Grinch. You
Thrayle,
can always find me.
thank you. I just wanted to ask that. I
DM
just
if
kind
you
of
need
wanted
to
to
talk.
get some stuff
Yeah.
off, So,
I appreciate it.
yep. You'll have a great night. I'll be in the chat.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, he is. And you too could be awesome if you have a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that, or if you don't. But if you do, and you can question your beliefs, well then go ahead and request on out. Let's see.
You're a little soft there, Thrayle.
I'm a little soft.
It's like Thrayle.
Yeah, if you're not into the whole brevity thing. That might actually be the most silent generation thing I've ever said.
It was kind of a silent generation thing, wasn't it? We cleared the queue. They were all
ghosts. They were all impatient. Like
There's a little light anti-Semitism in the comments also, which I
Was
thought
there?
was, yeah. Somebody goes, "Of course this guy's Jewish."
Hmm.
I was like, "Oh, that's such a fucking interesting thing to say," as we're,
fuck does that mean?
yeah, right.